Do shotguns work against drones? Small commercial drones play a crucial role in the war in Ukraine, both for reconnaissance as well as for direct attacks. Traditional anti-aircraft methods either don't work or would be prohibitively expensive. In this context, what would be more fitting than to combat small flying objects with something designed to shoot down small flying objects, with shotguns? In this video, we will test how difficult it is to shoot down drones with shotguns and examine the technical and military challenges involved. Drones have been playing a role in warfare for decades, but mainly large airplane-like drones such as the famous Predator or the Bayraktar TB2. Under the pressure of the full-scale invasion, Ukrainian soldiers began using small commercial drones in 2022. Initially, they were used for reconnaissance and artillery correction. Then they started dropping explosives. Now tens of thousands of FPV drones are on the front lines each month hunting enemy targets. Whenever I covered this topic on my military and history channel, I've received comments suggesting that drones should be shot down with shotguns. Sure, we've seen videos where drones have been shot down with shotguns, but to what extent are these videos just anecdotal evidence? The fact that after 800 days of war, there are a few videos where drones are being shot down doesn't mean necessarily that it's a practical solution. So I decided I'm going to test it myself in August of 2023. Initially, I ordered 4 drones, but the test couldn't take place until January. The planned weapons had issues and I had to find a licensed drone pilot and a shooting range that allowed drone shooting. Finally, in January 2024, we had the opportunity to shoot at the wonderful shotgun range of the Club de Tiro de Balboa in Panama City of the Republic of Panama. As the German saying goes, who buys cheap buys twice. The drones were too weak and without GPS, the first drone was simply carried away by the wind into the jungle. How far is that away?
That's too far.
Oh, how many meters do you guess?
I'm not sure. It's not coming back.
I guess the first drone is gone. The second could only fly about 50 to 60 meters high, so I shot it down surprisingly quickly. The test failed, but still, it taught us something. Drones are very dependent on the weather. While some commentators believe drones are the new big thing, a storm front will quickly disabuse users of that notion. Even if the drones are strong enough to fight the wind, their batteries won't just last as long, and they will be much slower against the wind, making them easier to shoot down and to avoid. Fog, heavy rain, and winter conditions make target identification difficult, destroy electronics, and drain the battery. These are problems the good old 155mm artillery gun doesn't have. On the advice of the drone pilot, we ordered 3 new drones and finally conducted the real test in April. There are basically 3 scenarios for fighting drones that are conceivable and will therefore be tested. The high-flying drone conducting reconnaissance or dropping explosives, an FPV drone passing by the shooter, and an FPV drone attacking the shooter. But who is the shooter? Naturally, an Olympic trap shooter or a regular duck hunter will be better with the shotgun than a beginner. Although I was in the Bundeswehr, in the German army, I left with a limited shooting skill. Since then, I've trained and became a decent shooter. While I've shot shotguns before, I never shot at moving targets. This seemed like a realistic scenario that could be compared to soldiers after 2 to 3 months of training. So my results should roughly match those if soldiers were simply handed a few shotguns. To simulate a surveillance drone, we will use the drone flying at 100 meters in altitude. This should be significantly above the realistic distance for drone combat. For pure camera surveillance, a much higher altitude would be conceivable, making the shotgun ammunition useless. However, for dropping explosives, the height should be a good simulation. For the experiment, we use Magnum birdshot to have enough spread and pellets while also having a chance that the pellets even reach the drone due to the large powder charge.
Yeah, like this. Now just up, up, up.
Holy shit!
Okay.
The result was very surprising. The drone was shot down on the second shot. There was also a cartridge where the primer didn't ignite. This error was unpleasant and surprising, but also shows real-life challenges that can be deadly. The test is certainly not representative. A drone can fly higher and perform evasive maneuvers. However, it shows that with the right ammunition and a sufficiently long barrel, there is indeed a chance of shooting down a drone at 100 meters altitude. I was very surprised. I expected to need at least 50 shots. The right ammunition will be as important in fighting drones as the right weapons. Basically, there are three common classes of shotgun ammunitions: birdshot, buckshot, and slugs. Each has a different purpose, determining the size and number of projectiles and their effective range. Against drones, you want to use birdshot. These are many small pellets that create a cloud of projectiles, increasing the chances of hitting the target. However, birdshot has a very short range and is almost useless against soldiers, which is also important in warfare. YouTubers' tests have shown that birdshot at 100 meters can even bounce off of human skin.
How, not lethal, but how dangerous would a birdshot be at a distance? And then back here, I've got some old clear ballistics gel blocks. So this is just for this instance in particular. We're going to start all the way back at 100 yards and see what happens. I'm going to put 3 rounds in just so we have plenty of pellets to choose from. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So we had 7. Look, there is one stuck. Stuck on the edge. Didn't penetrate at all. And then here's one down here that's stuck. So, all right, here's another one. Stuck. So, it just stuck to the surface tension of that gel and didn't penetrate. So at 100 yards, I'd say you're safe.
Although I wouldn't recommend this test to anyone. Buckshot is much more effective against enemy soldiers, but not very useful against drones. Additionally, military vests and helmets stop the pellets. A very few large, powerful pellets fly far, but hitting a drone is unlikely due to the small number of projectiles. Slug rounds are simply large, heavy projectiles that hit with great force and might work against lower quality vests, but against drones, they offer no advantage over assault rifles. Using slugs against drones is therefore not very sensible. While this test was conducted with a pump-action shotgun, I will attempt to shoot down the passing FPV drone with a semi-automatic shotgun. In this situation, a soldier is in a position and an FPV drone is attacking a target nearby. It passes the soldier at about 30 meters, a normal range for a shotgun. The challenge here is to lead the target correctly so that the drone flies into the shot pattern. This is a real challenge for a beginner. We use regular birdshot in a semi-automatic shotgun with a 19-round magazine. The drone was shot down surprisingly quickly on the second attempt. This was made easier by a drone that was much slower than those used in the war in Ukraine. Nevertheless, I only managed to shoot down the second drone. The first would have reached and destroyed its target. It's not much of a surprise that a shotgun can help against drones. However, it also shows how essential practice is. The semi-automatic shotgun allowed for a higher rate of fire here. If you want to fight drones with shotguns, choosing the right shotgun will be important. For long distances, you want a long barrel, but that prevents quick movements, making it harder to fight incoming FPV drones. A pump-action shotgun is more reliable under poor conditions and with any ammunition. If, like in the first test, a cartridge fails, the shooter simply performs a normal reloading action and a fresh cartridge is in the chamber. The big disadvantage is the lower rate of fire. Semi-automatic shotguns fire as fast as the shooter can pull the trigger. This can make the crucial difference in defending against an FPV drone. However, if a cartridge fails to ignite or doesn't reliably reload, the shooter has to reposition his hand to fix the issue, costing valuable time. Shotguns with external magazines are probably the best choice. Since the first two tests resulted in quick drone takedowns, the third test was modified. An FPV drone attacking the shooter should be the easiest to combat. It practically flies into the gun barrel. Therefore, I handed the shotgun to the camera operator. Here, however, I made the mistake of not adequately instructing her. This made aiming difficult for her, and she initially held the weapon incorrectly. The takedown required thus several attempts. Time for a conclusion. It is no surprise that flying objects can be fought with weapons designed to shoot down flying objects. Technical limitations include ammunition capacity, range, and reliability, but training will be just as important, especially as drones fly faster. But how practical are shotguns for the military? As early as World War I, American soldiers spread fear and terror in German trenches with their shotguns loaded with buckshot. The 7 or so pellets per shot hit with the power of a pistol bullet, but up to 7 times. However, a significant difference then was that these shotguns were the soldiers' primary weapon. Today, due to the soldiers' protective gear, shotguns are not practical as primary weapons, since the soldier armed only with a shotgun would be ineffective against enemy infantry. Unlike machine guns, which also serve special functions but replace the assault rifle, a shotgun must be a secondary weapon. The soldier must thus carry 2. He has to carry it in addition to his regular weapon. Here, the weight and size of the ammunition becomes a serious issue. If drone defense requires 20 shots or more, a soldier cannot possibly carry enough ammunition into the field. With tens of thousands of drones used monthly by each side in the Ukraine war, shotgun defense would be a daily occurrence. Just 250 rounds of shotgun ammunition already weighs around 15 kilograms. Yes, drones can be intercepted with shotguns, but how can soldiers handle the necessary logistics? During a multi-day mission, a group of soldiers would need 1,000 rounds or more, about 60 kilograms, just for ammunition that is only useful against drones and useless against anything else. This makes shotguns entirely impractical except for use from vehicles and fixed positions. Equipping entire armies with them seems like a bad idea. However, given that the war in Ukraine largely revolves around trench warfare, shotguns are still a realistic option here. Sensibly, all soldiers should be trained rather than just specialists. Drones are quiet, providing little warning time. The weapons should be assigned to positions, not to individual soldiers. This assures that a soldier in the trench always has a shotgun available for defense. Regular practice will be essential for soldiers to learn to lead the target correctly. 7 drones, ammunition, a drone pilot. All this was not cheap. If you want to see more videos like this, you can support the channel through the methods in the description, or simply give the video a thumbs up, comment on how bad my shooting stance was and subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future.